So I've had a lot to do this morning, but there was one thing I want to do that I don't need to, but I want to do, and it's make this video. I have been for the longest time since I was like 13, 12, I've listened to Slipknot, particularly Iowa. Some of their popular hits off of like Subliminal Verses, but Iowa and Self-Titled got me through a lot of shit. A lot, a lot. Like, if it wasn't for those albums, I'd probably be a completely different person than I am now. And it definitely gave me a voice at that time. And they're albums I still used to return back to. So, as a lifelong fan, even though my life wasn't long, I'm not like 40 years old, but for the majority of my teenage years, being a fan, and even with their recent albums like We Are Not Your Kind, Gray Chapter, the End So Far, even though I didn't really particularly think they were their best, they were enjoyable. There were some songs on there I liked. But as I grew older, and much with most of the music industry and art industry, not art industry, kind of a little different on that one, but like book industry, social media, influencers, I've come to really hate this commercialization of what's supposed to be my expression. If you personally, my belief has always been with my page and anything I make that is my expression. That is what I want to make. When I write a book, it's not about how can I chart it, it's about how do I want to present my idea and how can I make a change. That's always what I've been about. And there's times when I've lost that plot a little bit here and there. I won't lie to you and say I've always held that. I've lost it here and there. There's reasons why I don't do Atomic Renegade anymore. There's reasons why I abandoned, why I don't really talk about Bunker anymore. But I've always tried to hold myself to that standard. So imagine my disappointment when I found out that a band, Slipknot, sold out to an equity firm. An equity firm. This is the same band that made Heretic Anthem in response of basically a record company trying to force them to be radio friendly. This is the same band that literally mocked the entire industry, had barcodes on their suits, which is more ironic now, just to mock the whole commercialization of the music industry, to sell half their stake to a private equity firm, which I haven't looked into it as much as I probably should yet, but I've been hearing invests in generative AI. So as a creator who mocked all of that, having a frontman like Corey Taylor, who is so verbally against all this, to do that as a band, I'm not gonna lie, and maybe this is a little blunt, I'm fucking offended. I'm fucking disgusted. This is not the band I wanted, like I followed, and I kind of knew something like this was coming for a while, but this is not Slipknot. Like, dude, you guys are like the fucking forefront of heavy music in the 1990s and the 2000s. Not so much 2010s and 2020s. Kind of deathcore kind of took over, but still. And I still had some hope that we'd have some sort of Iowa 2. Maybe not on the same pain level that came in that album, but at least something in spirit of that kind of released something, because there's a lot in the world to talk about right now. But the fact that you would sell out to a private equity firm, I'm so angry I can't even talk, private equity firm, as a band that has spoken out against so much commercialism, that's so hypocritical. I'm disgusted. But honestly, it's not just Slipknot. Within the metal scene, and you can even argue rap scene, you can argue, well, pop star's always kind of been like that for me, but in the music industry, we've been seeing more of these sellouts. And I've never liked that term, because usually in the metal community, it's like, oh, they're singing now. It's sellout. No. There are bands that got huge and are not sellouts, in my opinion. Bad Omens, good example. I'm not a huge Bad Omens fan. If someone comments down below some evidence of something, and it's actually compelling, I might retake that review, that little statement. But anyways, point is, like, bands like Bad Omens, awesome, great, really looking forward to the new album. We got bands like Sleep Token. Sleep Token isn't like the heaviest band on earth. I wouldn't even, not that they're not metal, but I wouldn't consider them metal. They're just kind of music. They're very interesting, and I love Sleep Token. They've been in all my posts, not all, but they've been in some of my posts, and I love their music. Huge inspiration for what I do. Tala, great example. A band that takes the idea of heavy, or takes the idea of music, and really makes it their own. Hungry Lights, which is done by the same lead singer as Tala, great project. Like there are great projects that some of them mainstream, some of them not, that haven't sold out and people say sold out. But as a fucking heavy metal band that was considered part of the big four of its time, to fucking sell out like that to a private equity firm, that's disgusting to me. That's not the Slipknot I grew up with. And no, I wasn't in the 1990s, but that wasn't the Slipknot that I supported. You know, that wasn't what that wasn't what the movement was about. This wasn't, anyone who considers himself a maggot at this point needs to understand that your band doesn't care about you. And unfortunately, I hate to break it, but most pop stars, most rap artists, most metal bands that are really popular selling these tours, selling these huge ass tours, it's the same fucking thing. They don't care about you. They care about streams. And I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it, man. I want music to be about what it was about. The expression, the art. And that's what I hope to bring with my page and my stuff. So, personally, as offended as I was, I decided to do in my own way some Slipknot spirited EPs, and all the money that goes into these EPs, all the money, all the streaming, all everything, will be used not only to shout out, but promote smaller bands, or bands that I believe. I'm probably going to focus on smaller bands that actually present the idea that I believe art should be. Whether, not even bands, we'll say rap artists, anything. Anyone who I believe is actively showing what music should be about and what true expression is, and not this commercialist product bullshit we see all over the place, that is what I will support. And that's what these EPs are for. But not only that, I'm going to try to make something that Slipknot was doing with Iowa in the way that it's relatable. Or even like a flip off to the music industry. So, I already have an EP halfway, about 4 songs written. I just need to write the 5th. But I'm going to start doing that. No, I'm not going to try to copy Slipknot's sound. It is Slipknot spirited, I would say. The idea of just going balls to the wall heavy, while combining everything I love and keeping my originality. At least what I believe is originality. And down below, I will shout out a whole fuck ton of bands that I actually think show that music doesn't have to be this commercialist sensation. And on the off chance that some Slipknot fan or some higher person in Slipknot sees this, I am extremely disappointed to be a fan and to have supported a band that does this. Because it is a direct spit in the face of everyone you inspired and everyone who bought your CDs, who supported you when you were small. It's a big spit in the face. So, that's my thoughts on this situation. New EPs that come, I'll announce them as they come. And down below, I'll shout out a fuck ton of bands. And a fuck ton of artists, too. Anyone who I believe is actually doing what art should be about.